Thank you. This is our home. It's actually one of the first photos taken of our home from the surface of the moon by NASA. Looks absolutely beautiful. Just want you to enjoy it. This is another great photo taken by NASA. You see that thin blue line at the top? That's the atmosphere. That's what protects us. Scientists regard this as a mere thin layer of varnish that coats the surface of the Earth. And this is what we're doing to that thin layer of varnish. For decades, we've been treating it practically like an open-air sewer and increasing the natural levels of greenhouse gases. A quick climate science lesson going down here. Scientists have managed to determine our age of going back 800,000 years plus and determine the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and the temperature. So the ice tells a story of our history. And this is a story that it tells. Going back 800,000 years, the bottom line is the temperature, the blue line is the CO2 concentration in our atmosphere. You can see there's a general correlation between the temperature and the CO2 concentrations. Now this part upsets me. This is where we're heading. For the first time ever, we're way over 300 parts per million in our atmosphere. We're actually at 420 at the moment, and if we carry on at current rate, in 35 years, we'll be well over 500. We're in uncharted territory as we are right now. We've all lived through the hottest 10 years on record. If you haven't, then you're here underage, so you might be in a bit of trouble. NASA says last year, 2010, was the hottest ever. I was very fortunate to have dinner with a famous science climatologist, and he says he loves working with ice. It doesn't read the newspapers, has no political agenda. You know what it does? It just melts. And this is what's happening to many of our glaciers around the world. We're already seeing climate change refugees in our region. At the recent summit I was at, I met a lovely guy from the Kiribati Islands, and he said, my reason for being here, my home is sinking. With the climate changing, we'll see more dramatic and extreme weather events. I'm sure we all know what's happened recently, but this is just what's happening in our continent, major flood events by decade from the 50s through the 90s. This is a similar pattern to every other continent in the world, and Australia is not immune to that. We've seen some crazy times in the last couple of months. People aren't saying it's directly linked to climate change, but with warmer oceans, we will see more intense, more extreme, more damaging cyclones. The debate's over. Clear and simple. Here's one fact. The top number is the number of peer-reviewed scientific papers that are randomly sampled. The bottom figure is those papers that disagree that greenhouse gases are causing the problem. This is the leaked document you probably wouldn't have seen. It was discovered by a journalist in the US from leaked memos from the oil and coal companies in the US, and it kind of highlights their PR campaign. But this is not about doom and gloom. There's some fantastic work going on. Even though our own Cardinal Pell doesn't believe in climate change, this is what's happening on the roof of the Vatican. And our closest neighbours, China, even though they're one of the biggest emitters, they plant 2.5 times more trees than any other country in the world. They have set strong emission targets. They're heavily investing in renewable energy, and they will probably become the leader in this space in our lifetime. We've dealt with the climate issue before. Remember the hole in the ozone layer? The CFC problem? We have demonstrated political will, global powers have got together and solved this problem. We have achieved great things. The average age of the engineers that made this event happen was just 26. When JFK made that announcement, let's put man on the moon 8 years earlier, all those people, the average age of those guys were just 18. And this is what they used to get there. So who here has got an iPhone, smartphone? 90% of you, from what I agree. We have more computing power in our pockets than NASA did back then. So don't tell me this is not achievable. We don't have a plan B. I'd love to travel to other planets and meet other aliens and move in with them. But look, come on, guys, that's just not realistic. We only have one planet, and we need to start taking better care of it. And finally, this is the reason why I'm here in front of you today. My daughter turns 1 next month. When she's my age, will she be living in a world where there's 500 parts per million in atmosphere? This is the reason why doing nothing about climate change simply isn't an option for us. And it's the legacy we want to leave our children, our grandchildren. Start thinking more about it, value your votes, and start conserving more energy and become more involved. Thank you.